Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Universal Lens. Do not adjust your volume. That is my voice right now. Sorry, I'm getting over a little bit of a head cold. But the warriors that we are, we showed up.
That's
and
right.
Henry put his life on the line to come here and sit next to me. No fever. I'm not really sick anymore, but I'm just getting over a head cold. So if you hear a little during the show, that's me. I got my what's that vitamin C drink?
Emergency.
Emergency. I got my emergency in here. I got my hot tea in here. So
Yes.
how's everybody doing?
I'm good. I'm good. Pleasure to be back here.
Cool.
And you ever seen the movie Mulan?
Moulin Rouge?
Nope, Mulan, the Disney movie.
I'm sorry, I had to get close.
I guess that would be
No, I never saw it.
Takes place in China.
Oh yeah, I know which one. No, I never saw it. I never saw it.
No?
No, I don't think I saw that one. Or I might have fallen asleep.
All right. Let's get down to business.
I almost fucking spit out my tea. You scared me. Oh my God.
Let's get down to the business
The business of
improving people's lives.
That's what we're here for.
How do we do this?
You give us no, I'm joking.
Improve.
Listen to us over and over again. It'll no, I'm joking. Oh, before we do, we have a topic for today, which has been a little rarity in the last few. Wow, we usually find
I don't like shackles.
we usually find our topic halfway through lately, but today I think we have a topic we're going to start with. But before we do, just so everybody know, whoever is listening, and we've had a nice bump. We've done some advertising on Podbean, so we've been advertising the podcast on different other podcasts. So we're getting definitely more listeners from there, which is great. I'd love to see that. We will be stopping Spotify and Google because they don't do video. So we really haven't been It hasn't been updating there since episode 29. So that's where it stopped. So anybody who is on Spotify, who is on Google, and it's a very small percentage of our listeners anyway, but any of you that do any of you that do that, please just switch over to your best bet will be Apple Podcasts for me. Or if you have the Podbean app, you could download the Podbean app and you can use Podbean, which is the one we use to host our platform at, which hosts our podcast anyway. Or else just Apple Podcasts. It's probably the easiest way. Or YouTube.
I watch YouTube.
Or YouTube. If you want you can watch them on either one, but YouTube also. Go to YouTube if that's your thing. I would say YouTube, Apple, Podbean are your three best bet, and I think that's where we're going to funnel everything to going forward. So, Spotify and Google I'm going to disconnect them this week because they haven't been updating anyway. So this way we'll just cut those loose.
Yeah, we need hot chicks here too, man. We got to spruce it up.
I'll get Julia and Erica to come down. Those are our wives for our new listeners.
Yeah, I think we're easier. We're probably
easy. Tread lightly, bro. What you're about to say next?
I think it's gonna be easier for me to get hot chicks here down. I mean, any stranger than my wife. I already told her. I said, you should come out. No,
why not?
Oh, bro,
she doesn't like me, does she?
No,
I'm kidding. I'm joking. Erica loves me.
It's her.
How can you not love me anyway? Look come on, guys.
Look at what happened today, right? My daughter is like in this crazy winning streak, and today, it was a culmination. The last competition. Like the photographer says, "Come on, Beltra family, get together. I'm going to take a picture." Oh, we take a picture, and she sent it to me. She goes, "This is not seeing the light of day," because she's in it. I was like,
they're hysterical. These women.
This is what I got to deal with.
Not just you. That's a society. That's an issue that society has put upon many people by giving them these images of themselves that they're not worthy to be looked at on a camera or we're all beautiful.
That's right. Yeah, John. Right.
Muscular, skinny, chubby, fit.
Yeah.
Whatever shape and size and color you are, you're all beautiful.
That's it.
You know why? Because you're alive, you're a human being, you're on this planet, you're experiencing life, you're beautiful. So don't listen to that voice in your head that says you're not beautiful. Because it's social media, it's life in general.
No, it actually goes back to what we were just talking about a few minutes ago.
What?
That little voice, the ego. I point to the wall because we were talking about the wall. But, the voice that says you can't.
Sure.
Right? The voice that says you're less than, it's the same voice.
Those voices will keep you stuck.
You know the voice.
Those voices will keep you
So
stuck.
it's the voice that makes the story, and you believe the story, you believe the voice, and it just limits you, and you stay in that area where
You stay in what you believe to be a comfort zone.
which is why the opposite, right? So
You believe it to be a comfort zone, but it's really not.
which is why the opposite is what I've been exploring recently is the opposite of that, where letting go. Actually, today's topic is basically, we always tiptoe around the same topic because, quite frankly,
it is.
Yeah, quite frankly,
It's always about mindfulness and awareness and presence.
So yeah, because quite frankly, it's all the same not vertebrae, same spinal cord.
Yeah,
and it has these vertebrae, right? But they're all linked.
C1, C2, C3, C4, C5.
They all
C1.
link back to the.
They all link back, and they all run on the same path.
Yeah, and you were saying how the need to know or the forcing.
If you're forcing, if you need to have it, it'll probably be harder for you to obtain it. So like I would I would tell somebody. I had a conversation with my brother-in-law, who I love him to death. Dear friend of mine, also not just my brother-in-law, my dear friend, my brother-in-law Tom. And I was telling him about Joe Dispenza. I said, this guy, Dr. Joe, and he's a cynic. I'm like, love the guy to death, but he's a cynic, especially with this stuff. Funny as hell, but and we get along great. See, so like two different worlds. He doesn't like this isn't his world, but like there's
respect.
But there's respect for both of our worlds, and we love each other and get along great. Okay, anyway. And so I was telling him, I was like, Tom, Dr. Joe Dispenza. I go, why don't you listen to him? I go, he talks about manifestation. And I said, I think you're somebody who could get into that. He goes, like, I can manifest $1 million. I'm like, yes. He goes, all I have to do is say I want $1 million. I go, yes. But I go, but you can't need it. He goes, what do you mean I can't need it? He goes, I need it. I go, if you say you need it, you're not going to get it. He goes, then I'm not going to get it. So I'm like, and we said it like tongue in cheek, and we were laughing because it was just that's just the way he is. He's like, no, but I need $1 million. He goes, well, yeah. He goes, I need it. I go, if you need it, you're not going to get it. He's like, well, then I'm not going to get it because I know I need it. I'm like, so what we're going to talk about today is if you need something, it's different than wanting it and allowing the journey to unfold. You're setting a constricted. It's a constricted journey. It's very rigid. This must happen. So I'm going to manifest whatever. This must happen.
Yeah, $1 million.
This must happen. This must happen. That's not how it works, right? That's your demanding to the universe. That's you're demanding. It's like if you pray to God, it's like you're demanding to God that this happens, right? If you're a religious person, right? Either one, 6 of one, half dozen of the other. Okay. So you're demanding it to happen. I need it to happen, as opposed to saying, I would like for this to happen, and I accept what I have right now, where I am, and the journey that I'm on. And I work towards whatever I want. Health, financial freedom, whatever it is, right? Whatever it might be. And you work towards it. Doesn't mean that's what you're going to get at the end of the day, exactly the way you want it. But now your journey on the way there is completely different.
Yes.
It's not rigid. It's not constricted. It's not hard. It's not a struggle. It ebbs and flows. It's like water on a river. It carves its path as it needs to carve here and carve there until it finds its way to the sea eventually.
Yep. And as somebody who's currently on that canoe,
we're all on that canoe, brother. You're not on a single.
You mentioned, I'm going to pluck some words that you said. Where you said something to the effect of, I'm thankful where I'm at or what I have right now. I think that's a big factor, because if you remove that from the thought or the statement, it's an order. Hey, I have $1 million.
Yeah, that's what my brother was saying.
I have $1 million. Don't worry about it. Tomorrow I'm going to say it again. It's going to come. I have $1 million. And then tomorrow you wake up, the alarm. I woke up. Okay, I have $1 million. And you check every day.
And you're miserable because you're thinking that you're going to be getting something.
Because what we do, and it's not just what we do, it's basically what the theory is, what the practice is. It's not a wishing well.
No, exactly. It's not.
So It just like, again, just
throwing a quarter in a fountain at the mall.
exactly. It's not a wishing well. And it's also not, I don't walk into church and go, God, if you could please just make $1 million appear, please. Thank you. Be back tomorrow. So, God, I'm here.
And we're
again.
using the money because it's a hot topic.
Yeah, and no, not to mention,
It can be anything.
It's easy. I'm
easy.
sure you can relate. I think we all need $1 million. Like,
It's relatable.
And you go tomorrow to church, be like, yo, second day, bro. All right, come on, man, please. And your third day, be like, yeah. And the fifth day, you won't last 20 days, but let's say 20 days, be like, yo, I'm asking every day, bro. I'm here. All right. That's not this. That's not what
No.
this is. This is not a wishing well. This is not a get rich quick scheme. Because if it was, well, man, we'd take care of everybody. I mean, imagine that. There would be no poverty anywhere. It would just be, hey.
Everybody would be, yeah. It'd be like Bruce Almighty when he grants everybody's wishes and the world falls apart.
So let's take a step back and talk about one of the key ingredients of what you said. So if you need it, right? If you need it, it's going to be difficult for it to manifest because you're pressing.
You're pressing.
Right?
Yeah, there's a must.
So
there's a must.
So
I must have it.
As far as, again, I'm not going to talk to you as an expert on the topic, but I'm going to talk to you as somebody who is currently on the road, and I'm going to tell you what I think that what the secret is. The secret is that
the secret sauce,
right? The secret sauce, or part of the secret sauce, because I don't think there is a secret. Basically, there's two things that work for me, right? Because I'm a guy who would love to manifest $1 million. So
yeah, I'm sure
there's two things that work for me. Meaning, there's many things that work for me, but I'm going to talk about two prime things. One of them is not as important as the second one, but I'm going to mention it because it's a key ingredient. Abundance, right? That word, we heard it first from Dr. Joe.
Dr. Joe.
But I hear it all over now. Like, I hear it all over.
Now you've kind of become aware to that, keen to that word. So you're hearing other people use it,
which is part of the process, right?
Yeah.
You're now aware of.
You're on a different level,
right? But the key one, and this is weird because it's me. So I'm a guy who, I would love to have $1 million. Matter of fact, 10 million, 100 million. Why stop at one? If we're going for,
go big or go home.
Right.
They say.
But the key for me is gratitude. I cannot overestimate what that framing does to somebody. Gratitude really, really, really puts you in the place where you can ask for your $1 million, but you're not asking for it. You want to manifest it, but you're not asking for it. You are.
No.
Part of the ritual is that in this case, we're going to write it down. So in this case, you write, I am so happy and thankful to have made these $1 million or whatever it is you want. I'm so happy and thankful.
And I think the writing down is also
preference.
Or say it. Preference.
You do what you want to do, but the feeling that you want to strive for is that thankful, grateful feeling, because it puts you in a good place with the universe. In other words, if I'm vinegar about, bro, you understand, bro. I'm not making my monthly meet. I'm in the negative every month. So unless you have a surprise for me right now, I can't make it. So that's vinegar. And if you stay in vinegar,
you're going to get more vinegar. You're going to attract vinegar.
Yeah.
We've said this 1,000 times.
Yeah. So you're not able to see anything, but put aside what you're going to see. And let's go even more immediate than what you're going to see. You're going to live in vinegar. And everything that you do.
Touch, everything you smell, everything becomes vinegar for you.
So now, something happens at home and you, raw. Why? It's vinegar everywhere. Okay. Did your financial situation improve with that vinegar? No. So
and everything else around you has gone to shit along the way.
So you have a choice right there and at that moment.
Keyword.
Right? So you have a choice at that moment, and
it's a recurring theme on the show.
Yeah, and again, we always go.
No, I know, but I just like to point it out because this way, whoever is listening understands that's a recurring theme for a reason.
Yeah.
choice. You get to choose.
And
every
it's
moment.
strange to even to somebody who we call unconscious, right? We labeled that.
Well, we're not labeling. We just to use a word.
To use a word.
To use a term that person is an unconscious person. They're not awakened and aware.
So like to me, your story of your brother-in-law is funny because to me,
he's semi.
Yes, I pick up
He's semi.
on your brother-in-law. Like I pick up that
He plays on both sides.
Yeah, he can have a leg on each
Yeah,
side.
he has a leg on each side
Right?
when he wants to.
Right?
Love him to death.
So he understands.
Yeah, I love him.
So I don't want to use him because just the fact that he has one leg on each side is interesting. But anybody else. So if you're not in tune, you're probably this is news for you. Like this is news that you can actually be grateful, and your feeling will change. Therefore, your interactions will change. What? Yes, your interactions change. Because how are your interactions when you're stressed, when you're fearful, when you're anxious?
Vinegar.
Right? I use the term vinegar.
No, for lack of a better term, vinegar is a great way to, because nobody likes pure vinegar is.
And let's talk practically here. So now, how are you gonna? So if you have a normal job, right, a 9 to 5, you're an employee somewhere. Now, unless you're a high roller, you're not gonna see $1 million here anytime soon. However, what happens in the real world, in the tactile world, not in here, in the real world, we go to work for a pay. So, what are your chances of improving that pay when you are vinegar, fearful, stressful, anxious? I can't talk to this guy, bro. Bro, it's not my. I can't make ends meet, bro. What? I get it, but you're not going to go anywhere in your personal relationships, in your financial relationships, in your work relationships. So how are you supposed to make those millions? Throw it down, God. Throw it down, universe. Please. I'm here every day. I manifest. I'm doing everything right. No, like this is not a wishing well. You're
not doing it right.
like just Joe Dispenza, right?
You're not doing it right. And it doesn't mean you're gonna get
right. It does right. This is not a guarantee of a wish if you do this.
No, it's not, and that's the whole point. The point is we're not. It's whenever you're trying to work towards something. If you, as what we're trying to say is, if you really, really need it, it becomes harder and harder and harder to obtain because it's a necessity. It's something that is demanded. It's something that is, and that's not how life in the universe works. Like I'm a big believer, and I'm a believer because of experiences in my life. That the universe, God, whatever you want to use, whatever term you want to use, gives, and we had an episode on this, gives us what we need, right? Not what we want. Not that and it's a different need. It's what we need to make us better, not what we want. So I could say, I want $1 million, but I need that $1 million. It's, and the universe be like, oh, I'm going to give you this instead. And that could flourish into something else, into a great life. So and that's where I personally kind of sway away from like Dr. Joe sometimes, because it's putting a message out there, and it's a great program, and it works for a lot of people. But for me personally, and this is not me being, and I'm not trying to be critical of him because he's a brilliant man. For me personally, I know like I'm more of a spiritual mind than I am a analytical mind, and he uses more of, let me use the tool to get what I need, right? And I'm like, no, I use the tool when it's needed, and I drop it when I don't, and that works for me. So when I say, so if I wanted to manifest something, I would say, okay, this is whatever it is, A, B, C, D, right? Just something that I would like in my life. And materialistic things, by the way, for me, they seem to be the trickier ones in life, because greed and a lot of things get attached to them very easily, where they get kind of tainted, and your intentions aren't pure anymore. So like I always say I want to help people. I've told the universe on many times, I want to help people. I'm yet to become a famous podcaster. I'm yet to become a best-selling author. I'm yet to become ABC hasn't called. Oprah hasn't called. Eckhart Tolle's not asking me to go on tour with him. Yeah, none of that's happened yet. But what has the universe given me? He's given me the opportunity to do this.
Yes.
I've had a lot of people in my life I've touched. I've had very close family members who I was able to be there for them and guide them properly through things. I was able to write a book that some people have read, maybe a lot of people haven't read. I don't know. I'm now starting to Monday night. I'm going to become a certified life coach, spiritual life coach. So like, what the universe has given me? Opportunities to just do that, not to be like this successful, uber successful. Oh my God, and rock star. But yeah, that's the point I'm trying to make. I don't know if that ever happens or not, and I don't. While my mind might want to ask that question, I don't need to know that, because when I ask the universe, I want to help somebody. Amazingly enough, I want to help people. I want to reach people. Amazingly enough, something happens where something is needed, and what I do, how we do it, how the show happens, or whatever it is, conversations or whatever it might be, that help is there. And I'm like, okay. So like it doesn't have to happen how your mind pictures it's going to happen, but it happens anyway. And if you're not, that's what you were saying before, if you're not paying attention to it, you're going to miss out that you're actually getting what you want in small doses. And maybe that does become something great, because if you start noticing those small doses, they build and they build and they build. And then you notice more opportunities and more and more and more. And maybe something great does come out of it, like financially or on a grander level. Maybe it does, but maybe it doesn't. But you're still getting what you're asking for technically, right? Yes or no? So I think when somebody says, I would like $1 million, okay, I don't know, maybe you get it someday. I have no idea. I don't know how but now it's up to you to figure out, how does that happen? Does it happen by you putting your hands on like this?
Yes.
And going, I would like that. I would like that. I would like that. I would like that. Oh, it's like me and Henry sitting here and going, well, no, unless we get the listeners we want, we're not going to do this anymore. It's not worth it.
Right.
Unless I sell another copy of my book, I'm going to pull it off of Amazon and off of Apple. Fuck it. Why do I bother for? What's the point? What's the point? I'm not getting the accolades that I would like to get off of this.
So there's that which you're not getting, and there's your current state, which is pissed off. Both what you're not getting over there in the future, and right now, pissed off.
And you're missing what's happening in between. And you could build off what's happening in between, right? We'll build off. Okay, it'll be a year next week that we started this podcast. Even though it's over 50 episodes, but it's 50 official episodes, and there were a couple of special episodes. But it's 50 special. This is our 50th episode. Technically, our 50th episode. Like we would blow right by that if we would just focus on one thing. Like we would blow right by the achievements, by the people we've helped, how Henry's helped people in his lives tremendously, how I've helped people in my lives, how I've helped other people, how however arms and legs of what we're trying to do, or what Henry ends up doing with his life, or what I end up doing, with the life coaching. Like that wouldn't have happened if it was all about, I need this to be like a number one rated, a number one book. Like, no, it was like, I need to help people. Like I kept it simple. I want to help people. Yeah. I want to help people. I want to help people who are stuck to get out. That was you asked me once, it was, well, what is your purpose? And I say, my purpose was always simple. I want to help people. And at times, it's not what you expect to get. Like you get, I got one specific help that broke my fucking heart at one point. Like I didn't want it. Like it was the last person I wanted to have to help, because I love this person that much and I didn't want them to have to go through it. So that's what I got in return for asking the universe once. And it happened the week before. I asked the universe, oh, come on, like show me. I want to help somebody. I really want to help people. Like, give me a sign.
There you go.
And it gave me a sign that broke my fucking heart. But it helped that person propel to a new level.
Yeah. And you were equipped to be able to help.
I was equipped to be able to handle it. But it wasn't what I wanted. Like, if you would have asked me the week before, you want to help people? Okay, this is what we're going to give you. No fucking way. I don't want that to happen to that person. No way. Right. Zero. No. No, why would I? No, well, you said you want to help people. There you go.
Yeah.
There's your project. Oh,
Because you know what happens, I think? So, you know what happens to all of us?
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No.
But it was the most rewarding thing I've probably ever done in my life. In my relationship with that person, I didn't think it could go to a different level. Went to a different level.
Beautiful, huh?
Yeah.
And by the way, is the person on a better,
on a great
right?
on a great path. I mean, look, life is life, ebbs and flows.
Right.
But that person's on a great path. They whatever. I don't want to divulge anybody's personal stuff. So, but yes, absolutely.
Okay, so what happened? In my opinion, a lot of us, right? A lot of us mortals, we want the $1 million,
Mortals.
right? Oh, because we go back to we want the $1 million. We just don't know.
My ears are sweating. Sorry.
We just don't know what that looks like, how that happens. How do I get the $1 million?
How do we get the $1 million?
Right, because let's think practically here, right? So I can manifest every day that I want the $1 million. Okay, so is there a baseball card in your collection that's going to take off? Is there a few marijuana plants growing in your backyard all of a sudden that the God, right? So you understand, like, let's talk practical here.
Yeah, but okay, so
what happens is, what I want everybody to understand is there's a letting go.
I was about to say that. I was like, sounds like you're getting really attached to it. Yeah, there's a letting go.
There's a letting go. So what happens is,
where it's not in. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No,
go ahead.
There's your manifestation, which is your goal, and then you internalize it in the sense, I would like to help people, or I would like to have $1 million. Okay, so there you go.
Or be financially secure. Yeah,
whatever. And you let go, and you're thankful that, okay, I may not be able to make ends meet. This is true. But at the end of the day, I have heat in my house. I'm able to eat something. I'm with my family that I love,
Absolutely,
I have good friends. So what I'm doing there is I'm being thankful for what I have. I'm being thankful for my relationships. I'm being thankful for the smallest thing. I'm thankful that I can drink clean water.
You're putting a positive energy back into the.
Here I am with okay, it's not the latest iPhone, but it's a beautiful iPhone that works, and it has internet and has all these things, and you're like, Henry, okay, stop being a jackass. No, I'm not. This is true. What these things do for you is you have now taken a sponge, you've put it inside the vinegar jar that is you, soaked up the vinegar, take out the sponge, put it over there, and let's put some clean water and some positive thoughts and positive reinforcements in your cerebellum, and that will in turn give you the opportunity to live life currently in a much different state and put yourself in a better position, that if there is a party that you're at, that there's a rich guy over there that's going to start a satellite somewhere, and you have to say, hey, you start a conversation with you, instead of you being, fucking job sucks. Well, he was just looking for somebody. Maybe you had the qualities. Maybe you missed an opportunity that you didn't even know was there. Exactly. But by the way, you're going to miss them all. You're going to miss them all. The only opportunity you're not going to miss is the one that says, hey, there's a cliff. You want to jump from it? Oh, yeah, I think I am. Because that's where you're headed. So that's it. So that's why when I plucked from your statement the grateful, the I'm thankful aspect, because that aspect will ignite, at least, again, it worked for me. You know how some things work for you and may not work for me?
Sure.
So this is very personal to me. That grateful, I can't tell you. I mean, look, I can get personal. Like, I was in a very cloudy spot, very bad spot. It's not about me. It's about all you. But I want to give you a quick little example. It took me out of that, how do I say, self-centered, right?
Yeah.
you're very self-centered and everything revolves around you. No. Thankful for, so turn the lights out and go, look, I'm thankful that I have a guy like John in my life. I'm thankful that I can come here and do this show. I'm thankful that, ready? My car's a piece of crap. I'm thankful that I have a car and it works just fine. Yes, it's a piece of crap, but I'm going to say I'm thankful, and I am thankful. And I'm going to do that about everything that I can in my life. Right? And ready for this? So in your work, do you have problems?
Of course.
In my work, I have a lot of problems. And you know the way I reframe, learn that word. You know the way I
Scott
reframed?
Adams.
No, everybody.
Oh yeah, but that early on.
The way I reframed it was, I have an opportunity to handle a problem. I have an opportunity to solve a problem. I should be thankful that I have a problem to solve, because the alternative of that is you have no company, you have no problem, well, therefore you're worse off than where you were. So the reframe is important. Being thankful is important. And having that goal of the $1 million is important. Or having the goal of helping people is important. But
Yeah, whatever.
you're
is
not going to be able to
personal for
see
you.
it. Your lens is completely dirty when you can't, you ever, go off-roading and what can you see? You got to clean
Yeah,
because
sure.
you can't see shit because your lens is dirty. So if your lens is dirty, chances are your results are not as good. So they say, the Bob Proctor, the Joe Dispenza, in order to change your physical world,
Your outside world, you got to change.
you've got to change
your inside world.
this world first.
Yeah, inside.
And I think so.
But
if you're trying to
that statement right there, in order for you to change the outside, you need to change the inside. Isn't just like you could go to the most ancient of Eastern spiritual teachers.
That's right.
And that is a common theme that they will say.
That's right.
In order for you to change your outside world, you must first become aware of and learn how to change your inside world. And then they said, then the outside world takes care of itself.
Which is weird, and I know what you're saying, right?
It means you don't have to take care of the outside world. Not to say like you sit on your hands and you don't do nothing, but meaning you don't have to force the outside world. If you change your inside world, your outside world changes. And again, it's not a sunshine and rainbows outside world. It's not a every wish is granted, gold.
I got your brother-in-law right here.
Yeah, the end of the rainbow.
I got your brother-in-law right here.
Gold pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, and unicorns and ponies everywhere. No, that's not it. But your outside world starts to mirror your inside world. So what's here starts to become mirrored what's there.
Yeah.
No matter what's going on outside and you're out, and that's what they mean when they say that. When they say your outside world changes, it doesn't mean you get what you want in life and you blah, 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 I get my wishes granted. It means no matter what's happening on the outside world, your inside world it becomes a mirror for you, and you're not affected by it. You're on a level not affected by it. You're not suffering that issue. You're not suffering that problem. We were talking about this before. Where you were saying, remember, I don't know if we talked about it during the show or before the show, where you said you had like this.
It was before.
Like this great feeling, right?
Yeah, I was up at a 9.
Yeah, he was up at like a 9, and that's what we call like, okay, you've awakened, right? And now you get the like literally angels with trumpet, cherubs, and now the same, shooting arrows and hearts are flying. It's like you feel like you could just do this to a thought. And it's the most amazing feeling. And Jim Carrey actually said the same thing once. He said it as a joke. He goes, I had that. He goes, and I want it back. And he said it as a joke, right. But he was trying to make a point. He's human. And you were saying that like you understand. And what I said, and I said to you at the end of the episode, while we were talking, I said, I'm going to give you a little insight here. That fades, but when it fades, pay attention to what's left behind. It's what it really is.
Yes. Yeah.
Because that feeling is just a chemical emotion in our body to something we've realized. So now we've realized something. And now if we're attached to it, when that goes away, we start looking for, how do I get that back? It's the same way you're a drug addict, you're smoking fast food, junk food, that sugar high, I need it back. That could become a sugar high if you're not aware and careful enough. And now you start becoming miserable because you can't achieve it again. And when we were talking about it, and I was like, because it's happened to me early on, I'd be like, oh. And actually, one of my first Instagram posts, I'm sitting on a canoe up in the Poconos, and I did a video for 45-second video, and I posted it on my old page. It's probably still there. On my page, it's probably still there. And I said, I was walking around for the last week and a half looking for where is it, and then I realized it's here. I just forgot. I just stopped realizing it was there. Not the feeling, the awareness. The nothing is what it was, what it really is, just without the trumpets. Like eventually the cherubs go, okay, it's time for me to go home. Bye-bye.
Okay, but that's heady for somebody that's not there. It's heady. And
well, yes.
Because you said the feeling was the nothingness.
So the feeling that you had, that was that if euphoric feeling. It was just a chemical. It's our body giving us a high from something. Like, when you get a happy, yes, like you got
the dopamine.
You got a little bit of dopamine, and you're getting that dopamine along with an awareness and an enlightenment, and like you're reached a different.
Remove the dopamine.
Yes, you reach a different level of thinking. Like you're on and I don't know which one it is, Data. I forgot which one it is. But they have these different levels of thinking. I'm not into any of that. I don't. Not that I'm not into it. I don't know much about it.
Right.
I should say. And you've reached a higher level of, as Eckhart Tolle would say, or spiritually, a higher level of consciousness. And while you're there, your mind realizes it, right? And you get this feeling, but eventually that feeling fades. And when it fades, if you're not careful, you fall back into old habits of now I'm looking for something. But don't be misguided by that, because you're actually not looking for anything. It's still there. It's just there without the feeling. And what you're left with, and I would walk around going, it's nothing. And I would stop and go, there's nothing. It's silence. No thoughts, no fear, no anxiety. Even though and then a thought would come in, and a scary thought would come in, and there was nothing behind it. Like no spike, no clammy hands, like nothing behind it. Like I didn't feel anything scary, but I saw the thought. I realized it was there. I didn't maybe like it or whatever, but there was nothing there behind it. I'm like, crap, that's what it is.
And you're not at the 9.
No, I'm baseline.
You're at 5.
And you said it before, right? What happens when you wake up that morning and you're at a 5 or a 4? Our bodies are our machines run by chemicals, right? And at times, whatever environmental, whatever, our chemicals shift. You might feel lull today. If you're not aware, that lull becomes an attachment to why do I feel like this? I'm aware, I'm awakened, I'm enlightened, I know this. Why do I have a dull feeling? I went through that.
The ego puts on the skin
suit. Man, I went through that. But thankfully, I went through it for very short spurts because I realized it, and I was like, no, hold on. I feel a lull. Yeah, but there's nothing there. I didn't attach to it. I didn't become engrossed by it. I didn't look for it to feel different. And then I said, you know what would happen eventually in very short terms? That euphoric feeling would peak in and peak out. It would ebb. And this is going back to what I was saying. It would ebb and flow. And I allow it to ebb. And when it ebbs, I enjoy it.
It feels great.
I think ebb is coming in, right? I don't know.
Yeah, whatever.
I'm sorry if I'm wrong. And when it flows, when it goes the other way, the yin and the yang, right? When it goes the other way.
High tide, low tide.
Yeah, high tide, low tide. When it comes in, I enjoy it. When it pulls out, I watch it go.
Which, by the way.
And I don't need it. And that's what I was saying, right? I don't need it to come back. I don't need it to come back. I don't need to say, no, please. Because if that, you've fallen back into that.
But that's how nature works, right? So high tide, low tide, night, day.
Clouds pass.
Right. It's the yin and the yang of the world. Right?
That's on my truck. That's my trailer hitch cover.
That's how I know. That's how I know it's him. I said, well, first of all, who the hell drives that car? Second of all, John, look at that.
A yin and yang. But it is. That's what life is. And once you realize that, Yeah, a lot of things become secondary. And in that mindset, when you're not forcing anything and you pay attention, the things that you do want in life start to slowly
manifest
in one way or another
That's
in
right.
front of you, and then it's about you choosing to see that opportunity and take it.
It's weird because it may not be the straight line that you thought was going to be.
No, nothing's a straight line.
Nothing's straight, but unfortunately, that's the way our brains want to think.
You know the only thing that's a straight line? A flat line, no heartbeat.
Yeah.
You're dead at that point,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, look at the heartbeat. Everything in life isn't it funny how everything in life, look,
Yeah.
up and down, up and down,
Yeah.
up and down,
You're right.
up and down.
You're right. He's right again.
This was a PG show. Unfortunately, maybe not anymore. I'm sorry, YouTube.
All I did was
Up and down. You know what? And I'm thankful. It's up and down.
Hey, our weight.
Up and down. Everything up and down. Everything. Look, sun up, sun down. Storms pass. High tide, low tide.
Our blood pressure.
No. But it's everything, right?
Yeah.
Everything in life ebbs and flows. And if you allow it to, and you don't force it and you don't need it to be different than it is, you could want it to be different than it is, but you don't need it to be different than it is, things just start to change. But that, like I was saying before, it all starts with
the inside.
Change your inside. When we say change your inside, we mean change how you relate to your own thoughts, to yourself. Do you believe everything you think? Are you attached to your identity? Are you attached to your mind? And I know this is spiritual stuff, but that's what the show is based off of. Are you attached to that? If you are attached to that, well, then you're going to be attached to the next thing that's going to come up in your mind too, right? Oh, I need to feel enlightened all the time. I need to feel like I'm a 10 every day.
That's it.
Eckhart Tolle, he feels like he's a 10 every day. You know what his answer is going to be? No. He said he walked around in bliss, I don't know how, for a year and a half or 2 years at one point. He wasn't married, had no kids, he didn't have any worries. So, and then we said that before, your environmental, what's going on in your life is going to dictate how long that feeling hangs around, I believe. Like, he didn't have no attachment to family. He didn't have to worry about anybody. So if he lived in a small, like it was okay for him. So he lived life as a drifter for a couple of years. I don't know if that's the right word, but a drifter, I guess.
And he lived in Spain for a little bit.
But yeah, in pure bliss, he said. Pure bliss. He goes, and then one day that feeling went away. Eventually it goes away, the feeling. But he didn't, I need it back. No. He just kept going on. And that's before he wrote The Power of Now. That's before he wrote any of his books. And then from there, he kept on his journey. And he asked the universe one day, he went into a church and he goes, I just prayed. I went to a church and I said, I'm asking for acceleration. And like short time after that, he had written the book already. He got a call from Oprah Winfrey that she wanted him to be like a part of the book club or something. And that kind of jump started his, and he wasn't about the money, but that kind of jump started his fame, I guess, where he got more popular. It kind of put him on a different trajectory that way. But so it's he like, and I use him as an example because he was a very big, for me, he was my North Star.
Influential figure.
Yeah, very influential. He didn't need anything to be different than it was. And as things changed, he accepted them and just kept working towards what he wanted to do.
Yeah. So basically, it wasn't a straight line for him.
No,
either.
No. I know that was a long way around, but
well, quite frankly, it's not a straight line for anybody. And what happens is that when we talked about that fictional character about $1 million, hey, $1 million today. So that fictional character anchored in with those $1 million and not worried about how to change his inside so that the $1 million can eventually possibly come true. It's the same way that we were, say, possibly going to be anchored in with that 9 or 10 feeling. So it's that same where you're identified completely with that 9 or 10. You're identified completely with $1 million, and you're missing the big picture. The big picture is is what you're doing right now, because that's what's going to allow you to see the $1 million. That's going to allow you to see life better. In other words, if I'm busy looking for the 9 and 10, then I'm not really, I'm blind because my ego has taken the skin suit of wanting the 9 and 10. Your ego has taken the skin suit of the $1 million. The $1 million. And then we're doing it wrong.
Sure.
So Joe Dispenza would say, "Oh, your manifestation hasn't come true. Well, you're doing it wrong.
You're doing it wrong. Yeah, and he's I mean, he's right when he
He's
says
right.
it. He's
He's
right.
very
Tongue in cheek kind of
right,
way. Yeah,
right.
yeah, but he's right. He's right. I get what when he said that, I completely understood what he's saying. I mean, he said it kind of like, you're doing it wrong, like,
Yeah.
but I get it.
So obviously, we all obviously we all would like $1 million. Obviously, we all have financial necessities. Right?
Sure, it's
we all
part of
do.
it's the world we live in.
But I warn you in that if we get caught up with the $1 million, which by the way, I'm one. I would love $1 million. So I'm not saying I don't want. For sure I want. But why stop at one? If we get caught up with the one, and we don't get caught up with fixing or let's say addressing ourselves, then the one really is further and further away from us, as
Absolutely.
opposed to closer and closer to us. Because the truth is, we don't know at what point we'll hit our one. We don't even know if we'll hit it at all. But I can tell you that you're going to stand not even a double or triple, I would say a multiple. So, squared, cubed, whatever the term is, chances of achieving that one goal, $1 million, is going to amplify if you follow those steps. And again, what works for me may not work for you, works for you may not work for me. And I just harp a lot on gratitude and thankful. And I believe that's a cheat code. I believe if you're thankful for what you have, it puts you in a different mindset,
Sure,
which allows you.
You're receptive,
right?
now. Yeah.
And I'm gonna go one step further. So I'm a guy who was in a. Let me start from the beginning. I don't feel comfortable speaking in public.
I get that.
I think I think it's one of the biggest fears.
Most people fear that over death. Imagine that.
Yes.
People fear speaking in public.
Yeah.
Over death.
Yeah.
So you'd rather. If you think about that for a second, it's a head scratcher.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
And not to mention, take a look at a guy like Eckhart Tolle, right? So I look at him. Let's just call
it what it is.
He doesn't look like he should be talking in front of anybody. He looks like he's
monotone.
He's a complete introvert.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but there he is.
But he's a little sense of humor. It's fine.
Not only is he speaking in front of, he knows exactly, and if you're paying attention, you're like, yes. So,
but he's not like Tony Robbins. He's not up there with Tony Robbins.
Right? No, but that's a different character.
Yeah.
So, but I'm kind of getting there in the sense, I was in a position where I didn't get asked to speak in public, so I'm not. It's not where I'm going, but I was in a position where I was in a space with a lot of people, and I can't tell you, right? So this, of course, happens. I know what you're going to tell me, but follow me. Follow me. If
my job is done.
If they would have turned to me and they would have said, "Would you like to say a few words?" I would have no problem standing up and explaining to everybody a few words, because I was feeling thankful. I was in a crowd.
Yeah.
And I like, if they asked me to say a few words, I'm ready.
Mm-hmm.
That's not like me, because me is like, oh, please don't look at me.
Yeah, I was the same. Yeah, I get that. Absolutely.
So, and I say that, why? Because it relates to the $1 million. I would like for anybody watching to just give this a try about the thankfulness, and if you want to add an abundance, because it puts you in a different position. So wherever you work, right? Wherever you work, whatever you do, I can almost guarantee that your work experience will improve. And I got to ask a question. If your work experience improves, I'm not saying you went out and you started your own business. I'm not saying you went out and bought a lottery ticket. I'm not saying you went out and killed a rich uncle so you could leave. No.
Killed a rich uncle.
No, in other words,
we don't condone killing rich.
There was no fast tracking. There was no fast tracking. But if you can improve your current work experience, what are the chances of you getting nearer to your goal than going reverse to you?
Absolutely. 110%. You increase them. You amplify it.
That's it.
You're plugging into the proper speaker by doing that.
Yeah, and you don't know what. That's part of letting go. You don't know what's going to happen, and quite frankly, don't worry about what's going to happen. Worry about what you need to worry about, which is being thankful Oh, I have an opportunity. What? There's a problem? I'm thankful that I have a problem because, quite frankly, it means I'm employed. It means, I'm able to bring a paycheck home, no matter what the number is, no matter how difficult it is. But I'm thankful. I'm thankful that I'm healthy. I'm thankful that I have 4 limbs. I have 2 arms, 2 legs. Oh my God, how many people have, less?
But even those people are thankful.
Oh my God, they
But
could
even those people are
they
thankful.
could probably out thank the other guy. They could out thankful the other guy.
Absolutely.
But that's what I'm getting at is
Yeah.
that's going to put you in a different position mentally, emotionally. And I'm not the fairy godmother, so I'm not. I gave you a scenario of you're in a party and there's a guy looking for him, whatever. But it puts you in a different position mentally. It lets you see things that you weren't able to see before. Even that, all right. I'm going to tell you another one. Even that. So somebody says to you, "Are you going to that party?" I hate parties. I hate parties. I hate speaking in public. But parties? Go to a party. You're not going to really improve any financial situation by hanging with the same group of people because you already know what that is. You can go to a party and make new friends and make new acquaintances, make new.
Yeah, but the only way that happens is if you are, like you were saying before, if you're in a space where you allow yourself to notice those opportunities are there and to choose to take them, right?
Right.
Yeah, because like you say, you're thankful, you're in a grateful space. So a party or something comes up, and instead of saying no to it, you go. You don't know.
Sure.
But when you're in a negative vinegar, and I like that, I love that word vinegar. When you're in a negative vinegar kind of place, I don't want to go. I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
Nah, man, come on, not today. I'm not in the mood. Just shit's not working out for me right now. So as long as you're saying that, as long as that's where you are, as long as because your need didn't happen, because your need and your want isn't being answered,
Yeah.
you've now shut your door to until I get what, like, you're not looking, you're not seeing, you're not noticing, you're not picking up the crumbs that the universe is going to leave you that will lead you to wherever, because you're waiting for the cookie.
Yes.
But guess what? The crumbs lead to the cookie. Don't wait for the cookie. You're not going to get the cookie in one shot. And if you do, great. That's awesome. Well, listen, more power to you. I am more than happy. Bless you. Thankful, grateful. Every positive feeling that I could throw at you. That's great if that happens to you. But reality, the cookie isn't what we get. We get the crumbs. And eventually enough crumbs to become the cookie.
Yeah.
Right? But you won't notice the crumbs if you're not grateful.
It could be. It could be.
But it doesn't. The cookie might not be. You might have wanted, and we use cookie. You might have wanted oatmeal raisin, and it ends up being a chocolate chip cookie.
Right.
But the cookie is what you end up getting if you see that the crumbs are there. But the only way you see the crumbs are there is if your eyes are open, if you're paying attention to it, if you're seeing to what the universe is putting in front of you, even if it's not the way you thought or you would want it to play out. Right? Things, like you said, they're not linear. Things are not linear. Things are not linear in life. So if you expect day one to be skyrocket, I did great, I'm going to keep doing great, and like the stock market keeps going up, we all know that doesn't work, right? Even the stock market, boop, 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 but over time it's keeps trending that way, right? You have to be paying attention you have to be paying attention to see those little steps you could take to work your way to something that you want to get to. And the only way that happens is if you have that awareness, if you have that presence, if you're, like you say, thankful or grateful, if you're not in a space of I'm not getting what I want in life, if you're not constricted, if you're not rigid, right? This hurts. This doesn't. This is a lot of work for me to keep my hand like this. I can feel my fingers digging into my fist. I can feel my knuckles getting tight. I can feel my forearm getting tight, right? I can feel the strain and the stress in here. I can't stay like this forever. I can keep my hand like this forever. It's easy. It's relaxed.
Yeah. and this versus this, this invites
Invites more of this, more, yeah.
And
And by the way, whoever wasn't listening, I was making a fist and opening my hand.
right, and
Whoever
disease,
wasn't watching and just listening.
disease, whether it be physical or mental.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, this is a very flowed, very open and loose body, mind. So disease is gonna pass by. This guy's not ready for me. This guy's ready for you.
But even if you do get disease while you're in a
Right.
relaxed state, which can happen because we're human beings, but even if you do get it, your body is more apt to fight it off, to work through it with less rigidity, with more ease,
Yeah.
right? And you and at a quicker pace, more
Well,
likely.
You go back to Bruce Lee. Be water.
Be water, yeah. Flow like water, right? Flow like water.
Water has no shape.
It doesn't.
Water. I don't know.
It doesn't. Is that what he said?
Yeah.
Yeah, he said something like that. But it doesn't.
If I put water in a bowl, it becomes the bowl. If I put water
He
in a
was
glass,
great, man.
it becomes the glass.
He was great, yeah.
Yeah.
But he's true. It takes the form of what he put it in, of what the water was in, and that's the same thing we're saying here. It's the same thing we're saying here. Yeah. So yeah, be like water, right? Flow with life. Flow. If you're flowing with life, things are gonna flow more your way eventually than against you. And like you were saying just now about being sick, if you're a person who's constantly sick, constantly ill, constantly sick, and I'm not talking about aches and pains of getting older. I mean, listen, that's part of life, right? As we age, our body starts to age with us. That's normal. I'm saying like just diseases and unhealthy habits and just your body's breaking down all over because of stress and anxiety. That's a different type of breakdown, right? The stress, if you anybody who's watching, my hands, that stress, that anxious breakdown beats on you, eats you down. that just exacerbates everything that's happening in your body. Everything that's happening in your body. If you're in a more of a place of presence and at ease and you're flowing with life, even when a disease or something does come up, you're in a much better place to flow and ride with it and quickly move past it. Your body's going to be more apt to deal with it. It's going to be in a healthier, more aligned position to deal with those things, right? And to get you through them than to instead, have them linger and linger and linger or get worse or something else comes up because you just are so tense and so tight and so wound up and everything's a knot and a ball, so.
Which is exactly how we get in fear, in stress, in every obsession.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, absolutely. So be like water. Bruce Lee said it best. Be like water. Goes back to what we were saying at the beginning of the show, and then we'll wrap it up. What we were saying at the beginning of the show, right? Don't that need,
Forcing.
that want, that forcing is the opposite of what water does. Water doesn't listen, yeah, okay. People say, "Well, what happens when a tidal wave comes?" I get it, but we're gonna use water as how it cuts. How water,
the actual thing.
yeah, how water cuts a path on its own, right? If you have a leak in your house, I'm a contractor.
Oh.
You could have a leak there. The leak won't show up. The leak will show up 20 feet away. People are like, how can that be? Because water takes the path of least resistance. The water is going to find its way to where it wants to come out without forcing its way. I'm going to go through this beam. I'm not going through the beam. I'm going to go around. I'm actually going to go up. I'm going to go down. Oh, I could go left. I could go right. I could go right. I could go right. I could go right. And I'm out. And it was easy for the water to do that. It was effortless for the water to do that.
To screw up your house, absolutely.
No, instead of trying to burrow a hole through something that it can't get through, right? Water finds a path of least resistance.
Yeah.
So,
and notice how that water didn't take a straight path.
No, it didn't, right?
Even that water.
So take away from the show. Don't need or want it. You don't need it with a must have. Understand that nothing is a straight path. There are ebbs and flows to everything in life. Everything is like a heartbeat, like water carving its path, like we said before, tides and sunsets and everything else. Changing of leaves, seasons that pass. Everything ebbs and flows. And if you understand that that's just the cycle, that's how life works, and that's how we work also, then you won't take anything that's happening too seriously in your life. Because you're going to understand that what ebbs flows, if you allow it to. If you allow it to.
And I give you permission
To
to
what?
allow it to.
To allow it to.
I give you permission. Now, what the hell's give? Scott Adams says sometimes that works. You tell somebody, I give you permission.
I give you permission to do it.
It's weird because it's like we hold ourselves in our mental prison.
Until somebody says, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. But that's the person who's listening to the voice in their head that says,
Yeah.
And those voices can be convincing.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. They can be convincing.
And you know, one of the most rewarding things in my life was my children. Right? I would imagine for you too. Right?
Yeah. No, I'm kidding. Of course.
So now think about it, right? So just to take baby number one, right? Beautiful. Would you consider that experience a straight line up? No, there was.
You mean from day one to now?
Right. No, it was hospital visits. It was bad grades, fights. It was championships, personal victories, beautiful moments, hugs. It's all over the place.
Baseball tournaments.
Right. Those memories are beautiful. So it's
Absolutely.
this. It's this. So the $1 million, no, that can't do this. The $1 million must be straight.
Nah, man. That's not how it works.
And it doesn't work that way. But I can guarantee you one thing. If I can go back, and we can't, and there's no use in looking backwards, but tell me our beautiful experiences.
For argument's sake, yeah.
That we had. If we can go back and put ourselves in a more thankful, grateful mindset.
Because at a younger age, at an earlier time.
Because you know what's funny though, John?
Yeah, but then you know what? Okay, well, again, finish.
No, but you know what's funny? Because I know, and I'm going to say I know you, but I know you enough. Even during those times where we were completely unconscious, we were conscious.
Shit back crazy, yeah.
We were conscious enough, though. Like, we knew what we were experiencing at that moment. We really did.
We just didn't understand it.
It was here.
We just didn't understand it.
Right.
It's like we knew it, and we're looking at it like this.
And here's another one.
Yeah, okay.
Because we did shed a tear, but we would be basket cases because that would be in the forefront instead of the back.
Yeah.
We would have been basket cases. We'd be like, it would have, or not. Like, we would have understood the moment more. For us, it was just a beautiful moment. It was absolutely gorgeous, but we would have understood the whole trajectory. We would have understood, like.
But I don't think we could have understood it until we got to where we are.
I guess. Yeah. I guess it's weird, right?
No, you need you need what you go through in life, what you experience in life, is part of your journey, and not until you get far. And I guess if you're fortunate enough to get really far along your journey, and if you're an awakened individual, you start to see how life has kind of led you in a certain direction. And you'd be like, wow, it's put me on this path. It made this happen to me. But if this didn't happen to me, I wouldn't have been there. Then it made this happen to me. That sucked. That really sucked. But if I didn't go through that, I wouldn't have been here. And then that happened to me. That was horrible. But then I wouldn't have been here. And I think if that's what you're trying to kind of say, like, if we went back and we had the foresight that we have now, that wouldn't have happened that way. It wouldn't. The journey would have been different.
Yeah.
The journey would have been different. Like, I could look back at my path and I could be like, well, if that didn't happen to me when I was a kid, if this didn't happen to me then, if I didn't screw up my freshman year of college and have to leave and go home and go to a different school, I wouldn't have met my wife. I wouldn't have met Julia. Right? Wouldn't have happened. If I didn't decide to call her for shits and giggles when we graduated just to hang out one day, like there's a series of events that, like, if that didn't happen, that would have been there. And then, then I went through this. I went through that anxiety. But then I made a choice there. And I did that. And I went on that trajectory with my business because of that choice. And then I hit that moment. My father-in-law got sick. He passed away. I was at my worst and I was a mess and blah, blah, blah. But then I wouldn't have gone on this journey. So like there've been branches. So my life went into the branched, then it branched, then it branched. Now at 49 this past week. Thank you.
San Francisco.
49 this past week. I just turned 49 on Wednesday. 49. At 49, I can look back and I could say, I see how life has led me on a path and not begrudge any of those horrible things that I went through.
No.
They were experiences of mine.
No.
Not to say, oh, yeah, they were unpleasant. Of course, I'm not saying that they are. My experience with OCD was not pleasant. It was gut-wrenching at the worst, right? But if I didn't go through that, if I didn't experience that, then I wouldn't understand what I understand now. So it was, and this is what I'm trying to say before. The universe is you could ask it for whatever you want. It's gonna give you what you need to get to where you want to get to eventually.
And that was beautiful.
Yeah.
That was wisdom right there. That was beautiful. That was very good. Because you know what?
No, sure.
Because we tend to want to fix or alter the past, and like I said, why was I worried about making the past better?
No, I think you were trying to say, wow, imagine how it could have been if we were this awakened when we were younger. But then then none of this would your path would have been might have been a completely different one.
We wouldn't be probably right here.
None of us knows what it would have been like, and so yeah, the only time I look at the past, I look at the past as a reflection of where I've been, not on a judgment of what's happened, not on a judgment of how horrible it was or how great it was, or a comparison of how it should have been, just to see and notice. Look at, like, this tree has a branch that goes that way, and then that branch grows another one, and that branch goes another one, that branch goes another one. I look at my life the same way as a tree, right? It has the main trunk grows, and as you go in life, it splits and splits and splits, and there's different paths that grow from it, and that's it.
Man, you're full of wisdom today. Or as they say, you're full of it.
I was going to say, I'm full of a lot of things, son.
John's got a big heart. He's got a big one. Very big one.
Big heart?
Yeah.
Oh, fart. I got a big heart. Yeah. It's a double-edged sword, that heart, sometimes. But all right. Well, we're at an hour and 40. No, I'm joking. We're at an hour, just a little over an hour. So we will wrap it up. So thank you to our new listeners who came on this week. Hopefully you're enjoying whatever you've downloaded.
And you guys are all over the world.
Yeah, man.
Right? Israel, Taiwan,
Israel. We have, not a lot, it's a couple, but still, United Kingdom, Australia.
Hello, Governor.
It was one in Africa too. It was a couple in Africa. It was like 7 there. Canada, a bunch of different countries that we've people have noticed us and have downloaded a bunch of episodes. So hopefully they're enjoying them.
Yeah.
And if that's any of you out there, I hope you are enjoying them. And if you are enjoying them, there'll be 50 to download. Download them all, and we're gonna keep pumping them out every week.
And Dr. Joe, if you're watching, if we got something wrong, let me know. Let us know. You're welcome on the show.
If we're doing it wrong, come on and tell us.
Yeah.
You're doing it wrong. All right, we're doing it wrong. Bob Proctor can't come on. He's passed away.
Poor Bob. But Sandy Gallagher.
Who's Sandy Gallagher?
Sandy Gallagher was because he passed away. His partner.
Oh, really?
He found her late in life because he was on his own. And I think
partner as in wife, like
no, business partner. No, he has a wife, and he didn't talk much about his wife, but he was married. And this woman was financial mergers and acquisition kind of a woman world. And he goes, brilliant woman with numbers, brilliant. I mean, this woman made a bunch of deals, worked with big companies, and I guess she attended one of his seminars, and he's like, well, this woman is brilliant. And they were talking, and she said, "How do I want to get more involved? Would you?" And he says, "I thought about it. He goes, would like to be partners in the company? Let's make a company." And so there were 50-50 partners in something called the Proctor Gallagher Institute.
Oh, okay, cool.
And she's Sandy Gallagher. He's Bob Proctor, and he passed away, but it's still running. And I mean, the old man was a genius, very, very good. But he had models.
And it's funny because he was like a suit and tie, very prim, very proper.
But yet he was
speaking, very pointed when he spoke.
Yeah.
But yet understood what we're talking about here.
Yes.
right? So all walks of life get this. Like you could be the guy with a suit and tie
Well,
who's very, you know,
he's 2 months of high school. That's what he did.
that's all he did.
So 2 months of
That's
high
probably
school.
why he gets it.
2 months. He goes.
Probably why he gets it.
2 months of high school. He goes. I went to high school. He goes, I was a poor student. I was a bad student. I was a bad employee. I was bad at everything. I couldn't hold a job. He goes, I made $4,000 a year and I owed $6,000. He goes, even if I worked a year and a half, I still could have been. So he was a character, but he delivered the message, and
he delivered it well.
Yeah,
he delivered it well.
And it really, if it resonates, it resonates.
All right. So thank you very much, everybody, for coming. We will this week. We skipped it last week because we went over and I had dinner on the table. So we were pressed. So this week we're back on track with it. We'll do a quick meditation for a few minutes. And again, the point of these are to help you notice what's happening in your mind, not to judge it, not to change it, not to force it, not to not want it, just to notice it's there, and then pay attention to who's noticing it. Realize that there's somebody, something, in essence, watching that thought, and that you are not that thought. Okay, so let's close our eyes. Let's take a few deep breaths, like we usually do. Let's do a couple of 3 to 4 second inhale. We could do a 3 to 4 second hold, and then a 3 to 4 second exhale. And if you want to, while we're doing these breaths, I want you to continue. While we're doing these breaths, if you want to focus on something that you're grateful for in your life, doesn't have to be an achievement, doesn't have to be something spectacular, anything. The simplest of things that you are grateful for without even realizing you should be grateful for it. Family, love, the car you drive, the apartment you live in, that old refrigerator you have, whatever it is, and that you're grateful that you even have that. And not needing it to be different, not needing more. You could want a better X, but not needing it. Notice what comes up with that. Don't judge anything. Whatever comes up, comes up. We're not here to judge that thought. We're not here to label it. Just here to notice it. And the point is always to kind of hone in on that watcher of our thoughts. And that's that for this show, that's always been what the key is. So let's watch what the mind is saying. If you have an emotion or a feeling that's coming up, pay attention to the emotion. Pay attention to that feeling. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to like it. We're not trying to change it. Again, we're not judging it. If you feel happy, it's great. If you feel sad, it's great. If you feel nothing, that's great. It is what it is. And realize that you're not that emotion. You have no control over that emotion coming up. But you can control your attachment to it. Let's continue breathing. If you want to focus on a body part, feel free to shift over to that. Everybody has that specific type that works for them. So if you want to focus on a body part, you could bring your attention to it. And if you're doing that, you're going to notice that body part, feel that body part. You could do a body scan if you'd like. Remember, we're just noticing. We're not judging what we feel. We're just noticing what we feel. That goes for our body, our mind, and our emotions. All three. And you start noticing, you'll start realizing that there's one thing that's noticing all of them. One thing that notices the emotion, that's noticing the thought, that's noticing the body and the feelings in the body. And that is your awareness. Let's take 2 more deep breaths. And slowly open our eyes. If you want to stay here, feel free to. But we are out.
Okay.
All right. Catch everybody next week. Peace out. Thank you for joining us for our 50th episode.
Yeah.
And That's it.
Wow.
50.
50.
We're getting old.
Here's to 500 more.
Here's to 500 more. Why not? All right, guys. Take care. Peace. The insights and discussions that we speak about on our show are our own opinions and based on our life experiences. If you or someone in your family or someone you know is suffering and in need of help, please get them that help through medical attention or seeking proper therapy. Again, what we speak about are based on our experiences and not intended to be taken as a form of therapy. Thank you.